The inhabitants of the jungle are in trouble. When they urinate, everything around them explodes. What happened to them, and can it be fixed? Let's find out. If someone is in trouble, it's not a problem, because the Jungle Bunch is always ready to come to your aid. Its members include the brave warrior Maurice, his son Junior, the clever Gilbert, the graceful Patricia, and the mighty Miguel. Thanks to these courageous superheroes, peace and harmony reign in the jungle. Night falls. Miguel sleeps in his hammock with his bananas, while Gilbert rests alongside Patricia. Maurice, unable to sleep, trains intensively, and Junior spends time looking at photos of their courageous team. Soon, they too pass into a sweet slumber. Several planes appear in the sky, piloted by stern-looking beavers. They disperse a mysterious pink substance across the jungle. One of them boasts that this act will finally change history. Morning arrives, and a bald underground rodent named Pepito visits our heroes, complaining that whenever he pees, everything around him explodes. What? So it happens every morning. Pepito goes into the bushes to relieve himself. But today, his stream was explosive. Pepito is ready to prove it. He drinks a lot of water and heads toward the nearest bushes. However, frightened Gilbert stops him. The thing is, these plants are covered in a pink substance. Being the smartest one, Gilbert knows for sure that this is an explosive mixture. Any liquid can activate it. This substance was invented by the brilliant scientist Albert. He was the idol of millions of animals. Everyone adored and admired him. One day, Albert demonstrated his new invention to his fans. A pink substance. Something went wrong, and it became explosive. Our animals observed that the entire jungle is covered in this pink foam. The rainy season begins in a month, and everything here will be destroyed. They need to create the antidote as soon as possible to save their home. But only Albert can do this. They must urgently find him. Gilbert is a bit anxious because Albert is very attractive. What if Patricia leaves him for the brilliant scientist? But saving the jungle is more important than personal relationships. Meanwhile, the main villain eagerly awaits the moment when all the forests will be destroyed. He demands that his minions get rid of the Jungle Bunch so that no one can interfere with his plans. Our characters embark on a grand journey in a hot air balloon, and we are introduced to Albert's daughter, the brave beauty named Camellia. Her courage is something any animal in the world could envy. Right now, she is on yet another mission, trying to retrieve one of the important stolen relics. While Gilbert and his friends are searching for Albert, they are being pursued by the main villain's henchmen, a red parrot, a pink vulture, and a cheeky capuchin monkey. The henchmen catch up with our heroes and try to stop them, but they fail. Miguel notices that one of the bags on their hot air balloon is moving. Inside, there are two frogs, Al and Bob, who want to join the Jungle Bunch to also be loved and respected by everyone. Maurice accepts them into the team as trainees. In the jungle, another trouble arises. A kiwi bird is suffering from eczema, and someone needs to apply a healing cream to her wound. The task falls to the tigress. Soon the Jungle Bunch team makes a crash landing on a snowy island. They land directly on an icy cave where Camellia is conducting a special operation, making a lot of noise. The brave heroine is forced to flee trying to save her life. While her enemies may lack intelligence and cleverness, there are really many of them. The Jungle Bunch notices Camellia and sees how fiercely she fights with her opponents. Maurice looks at her with love-struck eyes. This beauty knows how to stand up for herself. Camellia defeats all her enemies and greets our heroes. Just then, a group of snowshoe hares appears and thanks her for saving their family relic. Maurice asks Camellia to help them find Albert. She admits that she hasn't seen her father in many years. He has been living as a hermit in a distant desert for a long time. Our heroes join forces to embark on the search for him. Meanwhile, Al and Bob notice the main villain's henchmen and see that they are setting up a deadly trap. The frogs warn the Jungle Bunch about the danger, but their loud cries trigger an avalanche in the mountains, and they all narrowly escape death. Fortunately, our animals survive and continue their journey on a makeshift ice boat. Miguel craves bananas so much that he licks Al, imagining that he is a banana. Meanwhile, the situation in the jungle is becoming increasingly more dangerous. At any moment, another explosion could occur. A few days pass. The hero's boat is gradually melting, and they are very thirsty and hungry. Miguel, barely holding on, pushes the remnants of the boat to the shore. Soon, they finally reach dry land. Apparently, they are now somewhere in Africa. Exhausted from the heat and thirst, the Jungle Bunch trudges forward. They share the last sips of water between them. Luckily, ahead lies a green oasis. Al and Bob go to survey the area and notice that the vulture and capuchin monkey are going to poison the water in the oasis. They warn their friends about the new trap, but Miguel doesn't listen and begins to drink the water. Fortunately, nothing bad happened to him. Camellia finds her father's message. It turns out that he left the desert and went to Asia. Following the clues left by Albert, they bravely continue forward, overcoming quicksand and dangerous mountain peaks, day by day getting closer to their goal. Throughout the journey, the vulture, capuchin monkey, and parrot set various traps, and each time, Al and Bob warn their friends of the danger. However, no one believes the frogs, as none of the traps end up working. So the Jungle Bunch reaches Asia. On their way, they encounter a huge panda that blocks their path. It's got insane red eyes and incredible strength. None of the Jungle Bunch members can defeat it. However, it turns out that this is not a real panda, but rather a robot. Camellia realizes that her father created this monster, and using a secret move, she disables it, striking it in the groin. Albert immediately walks out and asks our characters to bring the panda robot to his workshop. He pointedly ignores his daughter. The thing is, he didn't recognize her. However, soon Albert realizes that it truly is his daughter. Turns out, it was because of his own actions that she lost her arm as a child. It was then when the scientist decided to burn all his inventions, abandon science, and start living in the desert. Before doing so, he created a prosthetic arm for Camellia, which she is still using. Our animals drink tea with hospitable Albert and explain their problem. They need an antidote to save the jungle. Albert can make it, but he's missing one ingredient. It can be obtained from the cult of the sacred circle that stinks, but it's a very dangerous place. To get there, they must follow cow dung. There is a field where the cult's followers gather wild thistle flowers and use them to make a rennet for their cheese. This rennet is the key component of the antidote to the pink substance. The Jungle Bunch finds the lair of the cult of the sacred circle that stinks. They distract the guard dogs and sneak into a large cave. Soon, they infiltrate a secret cult meeting where new members are being inducted. Miguel finds the basement where the cheese is stored and immediately begins eating it, while Patricia and Albert get the necessary rennet. Miguel is spotted by the guard dogs. Our heroes try to escape from the cave. The cult members use paralyzing darts, but our heroes skillfully dodge them and make it to the surface. The Jungle Bunch has all the ingredients for the antidote, but time is running out. Albert suggests using an underground tunnel that connects two sides of the earth. However, on their way to the tunnel, the vulture and capuchin monkey appear and steal the rennet. Al and Bob use their super long tongues to retrieve the stolen ingredient and, with the help of the Jungle Bunch, capture the thieves. Our heroes learn the villain's name is Henry. They reach the tunnel built by Albert. There is a special elevator there, designed to take them home very quickly. Very quickly! Incredibly quickly! But the scientist forgot one crucial detail. He didn't have time to finish building the exit. Only one day remains until the rainy season, and it seems our animals are too late. The main villain is thrilled. Out of despair, Maurice confesses his love to Camellia, and it turns out she feels the same. She also fell in love with him at first sight. Yes, they are very different, but so what? Gilbert also confesses his tender feelings to Patricia, another happy couple. Miguel realizes that if the jungle is destroyed, he will lose his beloved bananas. In a fit of rage, the gorilla starts smashing the cave and creates a path to the exit. Albert uses Gilbert's laboratory and successfully creates the antidote. Meanwhile, the villain and his assistants are crafting thousands of tents. Why? We'll find out soon. The Jungle Bunch plans to steal Henry's airplanes to spray the antidote over the jungle. However, the main villain spots them and captures them. Henry then explains his devious plan. He intends to destroy the jungle so that its now homeless residents will be forced to buy tents from him. This scheme will make him the richest one in the world. But how did Henry get his hands on the pink substance? It turns out he attended all of Albert's presentations and decided to steal the formula from him. Little Camellia tried to stop him, which is how she lost her arm. Henry only managed to obtain part of the formula. Taking advantage of Gilbert's naivety, he tricked him into providing the missing data and used it to create the pink foam. An epic battle unfolds between the heroes and the villain. It turns out that Henry's accomplices were under hypnosis, but a well-placed strike quickly restores their clarity of mind. The Jungle Bunch is made up of very brave fighters, and Camellia is no slouch either in battle. However, the most experienced fighter is, of course, Maurice. Albert tries to reach the villain's laboratory while Bob and Al shield him. A thunderstorm begins in the jungle, and the first raindrops start to fall. They need to flee urgently. The animals are leaving their home in panic. Albert prepares the antidote and fills large tanks with it. Henry uses his main weapon, the giant Arnold. Even Maurice and Camellia struggle to deal with it. However, the loving couple uses the double fist move and defeats the giant, who falls directly onto Henry. The Jungle Bunch successfully takes flight on the villain's planes and disperses the antidote over the jungle. The pink foam is destroyed, and all the jungle inhabitants are saved. Miguel prepares a delicious meal for everyone using the cheese stolen from the cultists. It's very tasty.